So you spent your entire career doing everything right. You saved diligently for retirement, you played by all the rules, and first of all, that's amazing, so congratulations. But what if I told you there's a hidden problem that can turn all that success into a massive, unexpected tax bill? Let's break down exactly what that is and, way more importantly, how you can solve it. After a lifetime of hard work, of smart investing, it's actually not that uncommon for people to build a nest egg of $2 million, or maybe even more. It is a fantastic achievement. But, and this is a really big but, where you saved that money is every bit as important as how much you saved. This quote really just gets right to the heart of it. Every single dollar you put into a traditional 401k or an IRA, well, that was tax deferred, not tax free. And what that really means is that the government has a claim on your account. You've got a silent partner. And believe me, sooner or later, they are coming to collect their share. Okay, so that is the crucial question, isn't it? Your success in saving has kind of accidentally created this potential tax time bomb. The good news, though, it's not a lost cause. With the right strategies, you can absolutely diffuse it and take back control of your money. So this whole problem really kicks off with something we can call a forced withdrawal. See, while you had total control over putting money into your 401k all those years, it turns out you have a whole lot less control over when you have to take it out. The government actually has a mechanism to make sure they get their cut. And that mechanism is called the required minimum distribution, or you'll usually hear it called an RMD. It's really exactly what it sounds like. Once you hit a certain age, the IRS literally forces you to start taking money out of those tax-deferred accounts. So your 401ks, your traditional IRAs, so they can finally get their tax revenue from it. And that trigger age? Well, it's been a moving target lately. Thanks to a new law, if you were born between 1951 and 1959, your RMDs start at age 73. So that's the key number for a lot of people watching right now. If you were born in 1960 or later, you get a little bit more time. Your date is age 75. So how much are they going to make you take out? Well, the calculation is surprisingly simple. The IRS just looks at your account balance at the end of the previous year, and they divide it by a special number from their uniform lifetime table. That number is called your distribution period. Now, what's really important to see on this slide is how this whole thing changes over time. At age 73, you have to withdraw about 3.8% of your account. But just look at what happens as you get older. That distribution period gets smaller, which means the percentage you have to pull out gets bigger and bigger. By the time you're 90, it's over 8% of your account. This is what financial planners call the tax balloon. It just keeps inflating every single year. And this is where the real damage starts to happen. You see, the tax on that RMD itself is really just the beginning. That one single withdrawal can set off a nasty chain reaction of other taxes and other costs, creating something that people call a tax torpedo. Okay, let's trace the dominoes as they fall. First, that RMD hits your tax return as a big chunk of ordinary income. That alone can easily push you into a higher tax bracket. But it doesn't stop there. That new higher income can then suddenly cause up to 85% of your Social Security benefits to become taxable. And then, finally, it can trigger some painful surcharges on your Medicare premiums, costing you hundreds, maybe even thousands more per year. And this slide really shows you the Social Security trap perfectly. The key phrase here is provisional income. It's basically your adjusted gross income plus any non-taxable interest plus half of your Social Security. But just look at how low those income thresholds are. For a married couple, once your provisional income goes over just $44,000, bam, up to 85% of your benefits are now taxed. A big RMD can blast you past that number in a heartbeat. Okay, that was a lot of bad news, I know. But here's the good news. You are not powerless in this situation. The solution is to gain control over your taxes through a really powerful strategy called tax diversification. Just picture two different retirees, both with a $2 million nest egg. Retiree A has all of it, every penny, in a traditional 401k. They have no choice. Every single dollar they need to live on is taxable income. But Retiree B is prepared. Their savings are spread across different types of accounts, and that gives them the incredible flexibility to choose where to pull money from each year to actually manage their tax bill. And these are the three essential tax buckets you need to know about. First is the tax-deferred bucket. That's your 401k.
Then there's the tax-free bucket, things like Roth IRAs, where your withdrawals in retirement are 100% tax-free. And third is the taxable bucket, like a brokerage account. The goal here isn't to magically avoid all taxes, it's to control when and how you pay them.
Visually, this is what you're aiming for. Instead of having all your assets stuffed into one slice of the pie, you've got a healthy, balanced mix. It's this balance that gives you the power and the flexibility to navigate retirement taxes on your own terms, not the IRS's. So you're probably asking, okay, how do I get there? And once I have these different buckets, how do I actually use them? Well, let's open up the toolkit and look at some smarter strategies. One of the most powerful tools out there is the Roth conversion, and the absolute best time to use it is during what some people call the tax gap. This is this golden window of years between when you retire and stop earning that big salary and when your RMDs are forced to begin. Because your income is often at its lowest point during these years, it's the perfect time to move money from your tax-deferred bucket over to your tax-free Roth bucket at a much, much lower tax rate. Let's look at a quick example. We'll call her Diane. If she does nothing, her RMD at age 73 is going to be about 35 grand. But what if, during those tax gap years, she strategically converts $40,000 a year to a Roth? Well, she shrinks her traditional IRA balance. And the result? Her mandatory withdrawal drops all the way to just $23,000. That is a $12,000 reduction in taxable income every single year. That can be the difference that saves her from higher taxes, Social Security taxation, and those Medicare surcharges. And there are other great tools in the toolkit. The first is strategic withdrawals. This means in any given year, instead of just pulling from your 401k, you can blend your income. You take a little bit from the tax-deferred IRA, some tax-free cash from your Roth, some from your brokerage account. You mix and match to keep your taxable income right where you want it. The second is for anyone who's charitably inclined. It's called a qualified charitable distribution, or QCD. This lets you donate directly from your IRA. It counts towards your RMD, but that money never even shows up as taxable income for you. It's a true win-win. So here's the main takeaway, the crucial point. This isn't about finding some secret loophole or trying to predict what politicians are going to do with tax rates. It's about building a smart plan that gives you options and control over your finances, no matter what happens. And the impact of taking control, it can be absolutely massive. I mean, one case study showed a couple that by proactively managing their taxes with Roth conversions, instead of just letting things happen, they were projected to save over $631,000 in taxes over their lifetime. That is life-changing money. Which really just brings us to the final question. I mean, just think about it for a second. What could you do with that kind of money? What could it do for your family, for your community, for your own peace of mind? Your incredible success in saving for retirement doesn't have to become a tax nightmare. With a smart plan, it can be the secure, flexible retirement you worked so hard to build.